welcome to the second portion of our evening tonight. What you see in front of you are 4 candidates for the Town of Anderson Town Council. There is a 5th candidate, Will Borski, but unfortunately he can't make it tonight. He was already committed at Anderson Baptist tonight for a program, so he's not going to be able to join us. But with that, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, I get the pleasure of asking our Alderman questions this evening. And so we will follow kind of the same format we did with our school board candidates. Everyone will have an opportunity to answer and respond. And so we'll get started here with our introductions. And we're going to start with, is it okay if I just use your first name? So you go with that too? All right, we're going to start with Brett. You've got 3 minutes for your introduction.
Okay, hello, my name is Brett Mize. I'm here tonight to tell my qualifications for the job of Alderman. My daddy died when I was 17. I did not go to college. I am self-educated. During high school, I had worked in residential construction. I went out on my own at 21, had 5 employees for 2 years. Till the business recession hit. After that, I went into remodeling, ultimately specializing in renovation Victorian houses and turn-of-the-century commercial buildings close to downtown Houston. Things really came to a head in 2005 with the wolves at the door. They were mainly the builders of townhouses that would have liked nothing better than to completely demolish Houston's oldest intact neighborhood because of the great location. We ultimately won the battle after a grueling 2.5 years to save the neighborhood. After that, I started looking for a little town with good history, good trees. That's when I found Anderson in '06. The bronze plaque on Fanthorpe Street is a 100% result of my initiative and research. My qualifications as alderman include, I have specific knowledge in the creation of protected historic districts for certain areas, but only if the residents of those streets agreed with the idea. I have specific knowledge involving retrofitting 19th century commercial buildings into the 21st century, a subject that's come up recently in Anderson regarding infrastructure. To bring a particular building into the 21st century while having to please City of Houston inspectors with 1,000,001 code issues, including infrastructure, sewer capacities, grease traps, ADA requirements, water supply, fire code, parking requirements, and signage, I learned a whole lot. I also have specific knowledge involving new construction in the design and building and site preparation of those 5 new houses on 1774. I learned much about residential sewer capacity requirements and also requirements of underground electrical cable, conduit, drainage, and general infrastructure. As alderman, I will be bringing a lot of knowledge and experience to the table that will be useful regarding many issues that are bound to come up for consideration, especially with so much attention on the little town of Anderson and so much out-of-state money and developers trying their hand at what they can get away with, all for the sake of making money while threatening the peace and tranquility of an early Texas town. 2 sentences. Some wanting to create huge subdivisions right on our doorsteps. The wolves are truly at the door.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Sophia. You have 3 minutes to give your introduction.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sophia Devine. I am a very new resident to Anderson, 30 years. My background is in early childhood development, certificate out of state of Florida. Also horticulture, which my husband and I owned a business for 15 years. Currently, I am an independent filmmaker. I have a degree both in film production and screenwriting. In fact, just recently, I've used the town of Anderson for a location spot, as well as my own home. The position here is because I love Anderson. It is a beautiful, small little town. I was raised in a small little town, born and raised in Texas. In fact, my heritage is Aztec, so I'm very much a native. Also, the historical value that we have here in Anderson is very important to me. I don't want to lose that. The importance of what it can be for Anderson, the asset that we have here, can be volumes, not just for business, but for our community. I hope that everyone understands that it takes a community to make it beautiful. Not just the roads, but the buildings, the community itself, the schools, everything. So I hope that you consider me. I have a pamphlet out, so just kind of look over what we have, what I have to offer. I'm here, I'm honest, it's who I am. Thank you.
All right, next we have Tanner to give your 3-minute introduction.
All right. I'm Tanner Krause. I'm currently an alderman on the town council. I was appointed in May of last year. I'm originally from a very small town, smaller than Anderson, so it's possible. I attended high school in Sealy, got my bachelor's degree at Sam Houston State University, where I met the love of my life, who ultimately got me here. She's from Anderson, so we went off to Houston to pursue our careers, where we lived for 10 years. I worked for Cummins on the power generation side, and I recently started a home inspection business. When we had our son Case around 3 years ago, we decided that we wanted to raise him how we were raised, back in the country, small town, not in Houston. When we moved back about 2.5 years ago, I immediately knew this is where I wanted to plant my roots for a long time. I wanted to get back to the community and get involved. That's when the vacancy became available and the mayor, or Mark, stepped up to become mayor. And I was appointed in May of 2023. In this year's time, I've been on the council. I've learned a lot about the ins and outs of small town government, and I truly admire the work that everybody has put in to make Anderson a great place to live, work, and visit. I believe that if elected, I can help with continuing the efforts and direction that we have been working towards to accept, and for lack of a better term, help control the growth that is inevitably heading our way. Keeping this small town small while working to entice businesses and residents to come in and thrive in our community, spend their money and time here, and not have to head down the road for something better or that's lacking. I hope to continue to use my conservative values to help keep historic Anderson historic and allow it to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have Kason. With your introduction, you have 3 minutes.
All right. Howdy, y'all. My name is Kason. I am an alderman currently in the town of Anderson. I'm from the East Texas area. I grew up in Piney Woods, where I found Jesus and I found my wife, and we have lived here since 2017. We love being here. We love the small town. When we had the opportunity to move back to the Brazos Valley for work stuff, I ended up in College Station, and I was like, that's enough of that. And so we found our little home here. We love living here. We love the quietness. We love the small town feel of it. I've enjoyed being on the council, working with Mayor McDuffie and Mayor Bitten, and learning from Mayor Gale. I love to ask questions. Sometimes maybe it's not the right question. I don't know, but I've learned a lot. I spent my college years training for and fighting in wars. I was in the Marines. I spent a little time doing that, and I was in the restaurant business for 23 years. That was enough of that. So now I own my own company. I run a Lego store at College Station, so it's quite a different pace, but it gives me the opportunity to spend more time with my daughter and my wife, and so yeah, that's me.
Thank you. All right, this will be our first question. You have 2 minutes to respond to each question, and we will start with Sophia. You ready? All right. With the explosive growth in terms of population and size of other municipalities in Grimes County, how do you intend to manage Anderson's growth while preserving our town's unique character and charm?
I think historically, it is the asset that we have, and we need to continue in that route. Yes, growth will come. It will always be that way. However, we don't have to be sucked into the big city, the big buildings, the billboards everywhere. We can perhaps even consider a historic district to protect Anderson as it is. That's something that perhaps we can go into more detail if you like. I think also there are different development companies that want to come in. I think there's certain ones that want to change their plot size and all. I've seen some of these new neighborhoods, they're 5 feet apart and they're crowded and it's just packed in there. Might as well do townhomes if they're going to keep them that close together. That's not what Anderson's about. I think we need to continue to keep it what it is, a country living environment.
All right. Tanner, same question. Would you like me to read it again?
Yes, please.
Okay. With the explosive growth in terms of population and size of other municipalities in Grimes County, how do you intend to manage Anderson's growth while preserving our town's unique character and charm?
So being on the town council, there are some things in the works. We're looking at zoning, looking at making historic districts. As Sophia said, I think that we have to utilize Anderson being historic. You know, focus on Main Street. Let's get businesses like we have coming into Main Street to allow people to come and eat, come and shop. I think that, you know, having a gas station on every corner is not what Anderson is. I think we have to look at the growth that's coming. We have to accept it, but make it fit us, not us fit the growth that's coming.
All right. Kason, same question. Would you like me to read it again?
Sure.
Okay. With the explosive growth in terms of population and size of other municipalities in Grimes County, how do you intend to manage Anderson's growth while preserving our town's unique character and charm?
Yeah, so to kind of echo the other two, about the historical district, I think that's what we should do, is designate certain areas of Anderson that need to stay the way they are. At the same time, when developers come in, we need to make sure we stick to our guns. Like, we don't just let, this developer's gonna bring in 64 homes or whatever it is. We need to make sure that if that's what you're doing, that's fine, but this is how we do it in Anderson. And we just need to make sure that we don't just bend the rules for them or change the rules and all, or provide variances every single time something comes up. Like, we have ordinances for a reason, and that's how we keep our town organized.
All right, Brett, same question. Would you like for me to read it again?
Yes.
Okay. I know. It's all good. Are you ready?
Just like your voice.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, good.
All right, I'm going to read it again. With the explosive growth in terms of population and size of other municipalities in Grimes County, how do you intend to manage Anderson's growth while preserving our town's unique character and charm?
Well, I've realized early on that Anderson's claim to fame is historic in nature. It was part of when I realized that Little Fanthorpe Street was almost certainly an early Texas trail through this area, which turned out to be La Bahia Road. And you've heard my ideas and my involvement in saving Houston's oldest intact neighborhood. I had to edit most of that out just so I'd fit in 3 minutes, but it's mainly a team of 5 people, 3 main ones. I was 3. We had to get a super majority of signatures over a 2.5-year period of time, and that's over 68%, and I'm responsible for 80% of them. It was rough, but I was dedicated. All of us, we ultimately got it. We convinced people that it was worthwhile, because it does amount to what some people call zoning, and it might be deed restrictions voluntarily, but it can be done, and most people, if their neighbors are willing to do it, they're willing to do it. They just don't want to be the only person to go out on a limb. Main Street and Fanthorpe Street being primarily the points of interest. And recently there's been some gentleman proposing 40-foot minimum lot sizes for his development, which certainly does sound like townhouses to me, or front-end loaders, townhouses. That's where you're looking at a garage door. And
10 seconds.
okay, and we want to discourage that sort of thing.
All right. 1 second left. All right. Next question. We are going to start with Tanner this time. What specific initiatives do you propose to promote economic development and job creation within our community? 2 minutes.
Putting in for grants that try to foster the type of businesses that you'd like to see in town. You know, we don't have a pizza shop, we don't have a coffee shop. If you want pizza and coffee, you gotta go to Clint's. Nothing against Clint's, but we need more to offer to people that are bringing their kids to school, people that are driving through to work every day. We need something more to offer, and I think that if we can get grants to help, you know, fix up Main Street, if that is, you know, we pay for half of it, or the grant pays for half and the business owner takes the rest. But I think there is definitely some stuff out there that we can go look for and get.
All right, Kason, would you like for me to read the question again? All right. What specific initiatives do you propose to promote economic development and job creation within our community?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of echo Tanner. Tanner and I have about the same opinions on a lot of things. So I think the restoration of Main Street is absolutely key to the continuation of Anderson. Like, I think whatever that looks like, whether it's turning Main Street into a cobblestone road or whatever, you know, so many ideas have been brought up, but we have never had the opportunity to do any of that. And so we have in the past looked at several grants and different opportunities about just restoring Main Street. You know, I'm not sure where Mr. Lefevre's at with his project, but you know, anything that we can do to help that type of person come and that's really looking to invest a lot of money, like Mr. Miller, who bought the building and just completely revamped it. I think we need to go and do that. Anything we can do to help businesses come to town, we need to be looking at that instead of getting inhibited.
All right, Brett, would you like for me to read the question again?
No, I believe that we don't have to do a whole lot because there's so many people coming here already escaping the Woodlands, Magnolia, and Houston. And basically we just kind of need to get out of the way with some guidance, of course, so that they don't ruin the ambience and the atmosphere of this little town we got. I mean, I believe common necessary services industries, I mean, the free market will take care of that because entrepreneurs will see a need and they'll figure out how to start a little company and make some money. It would be sweet if we had a real big grocery store close by, but when is that coming? Anyway, that's all I got.
All right, Sophia, you've got 2 minutes. Do you want the question read again? Okay. What specific initiatives do you propose to promote economic development and job creation within our community?
As I said before, the historical value of Anderson is the important thing here. Not just for Anderson itself, but for the growth, for tourism is something that perhaps we can go towards a little bit more. Bringing in other businesses, beautificating the entire town. One industry that I mentioned earlier was filming. We can bring film here. Independent films for the courthouse, down Main Street. There's value in that. So yes, there are other industries that can be brought here that may not need to take root here. Tourism's, a historical walk, filming. All these things can be done without adding another building, just beautifying what we have already. Another aspect of is cleaning up the road, making Main Street more not sure if the Bank of Anderson is SBA approved, but that's something we could possibly have them look into. Small Business Administration to bring them in. Let's see what they can do.
All right. Next question, and this one we're going to start with Kaysen. Other than growth and the spread of subdivisions in Grimes County, what other challenges to Anderson's future prosperity do you see, and what would you do to mitigate their impact? And you have 2 minutes.
I think the biggest issue we have is participation. It's usually the same handful of people at meetings and events and things like that. And, you know, it's very difficult in a little town to manage expectations versus reality when someone, you know, whether it's like, hey, we want parks, like parks cost a lot of money. It's a very small town, it's very low tax income coming into the city. And so a lot of, like, you know, Mayor said before, everybody's doing it by volunteer. You know, so that, I think that's our biggest problem out there, is just whether that participation is providing input or actually like driving a cart around and picking up trash on cleanup day. Like it's very tough right now.
Speaking of Anderson Cleanup Day is April 27th.
That's a free shot.
8 to noon. Feel free, come on out.
All right, Brett, it's your turn. You have 2 minutes. Would you like for me to read the question again?
Go ahead.
Okay. Other than growth and the spread of subdivisions in Grimes County, what other challenges to Anderson's future prosperity do you see, and what would you do to mitigate their impact?
Well, we already have traffic problem. Y'all noticed last few years, all the 18-wheelers using 90. I guess there's a cut across between 290 and Huntsville and 45. I'm not sure where they're going, but it used to not be that way. But then anyone taking the kid to school already knows about the traffic jams. And with the onslaught of all these pending subdivisions and these guys wanting to get whole ranches and cut them into 1 million pieces, you know, which is a big problem. It scares the heck out of the ranchers and neighboring ranches. But gosh, the roads, what are they going to be like up 149 east and such, with emptying onto some of those? But what can be done about that? I don't know. That's highway department stuff, I guess. Would we have any kind of way of requesting highway department to do something to accommodate all that traffic? Anyway, that's the question. But I don't know if that's all I got.
All right, Sophia, yes, I can. Other than growth and spread of subdivisions in Grimes County, what other challenges to Anderson's future prosperity do you see, and what would you do to mitigate that impact?
I think this affects all of the community, which is the economic influx that we have right now. Everyone is tight on a dime. One thing I've seen is the food pantries have exceeded its need. It has overflowed, and I'm speaking of the one down Fanthorpe as well as St. Vincent de Paul. I think this is something that perhaps Anderson can look into and helping the community in creating a community garden with the volunteers themselves being the ones that are in need. Perhaps this is something that we as a community can reach out. That's only one aspect that I see in Anderson.
All right, Tanner, would you like for me to read the question again? Okay. Other than growth and the spread of subdivisions in Grimes County, what other challenges to Anderson's future prosperity do you see, and what would you do to mitigate their impact?
As Brett mentioned, the onslaught of people coming to this area, the school district growing. I think we need to focus on roads. I think we need to focus on road signs. A lot of these roads in Anderson don't have stop signs either way. There's a lot of blind curves with kids at the church schools, with kids, you know, walking back and forth from school. to the gas station. I think that, you know, we need to make sure that we have speed limit signs. We need to make sure we have stop signs or yield signs. There's people flying by the bank all the time. There's no yield sign right there at 1 and then there's people pulling in. It's gonna be a matter of time before a kid gets hit or, you know, a major accident happens here in town, so I'd like to see focus on roads and signs.
All right, those are all the questions. So this will be an opportunity for your closing statement. You will have a 2-minute time limit for your closing statement, and this time we'll start with Brett.
Okay, well, as I said before, I believe Anderson's claim to fame is very important early Texas history and needs to be preserved, what's left of it. And because actually we do have a pretty high concentration of pre-Civil War houses, even on Main Street and Banthorpe still, considering. Now, at least one of them looks like a Queen Anne Victorian, but it's been remodeled. It is an older one. I know I worked on all those old houses before. But I believe we need to preserve our atmosphere and protect our history. And that's what I believe.
All right, Sophia, you've got 2 minutes for closing statements.
Well, in closing, I have to say that I'm very new to Anderson and I still love it. I've lived in several states, in cities, and I'm busier now in a small town than I ever was in a bigger city. Adding this would be amazing. Anderson has not just history, but the love of it. I see people love it. Whether it be the courthouse, whether it be just the Main Street old buildings, the old homes. They come here to see that because it's lost in the big cities. That is something that we not only preserve, but it is our asset. It is something of value, and we must continue to keep this. Thank you.
All right, Tanner, you have 2 minutes for a closing statement.
All right. It's been an honor to serve on the council this past year. I'd like the opportunity to continue to serve the people of the town of Anderson in the future. With the growth we've talked about tonight, I think that with the skills, knowledge, and outlook I have regarding the town and the history with the town, I'd continue to be an asset to the constituents. Thank you.
All right, Jason, you've got 2 minutes.
Thanks again, everybody, for coming out. I really enjoyed my time serving the town of Anderson. I look forward to continuing that service. And I look forward to just the things that we can come up with to encourage those businesses to come to Anderson at the same time, still maintaining that historical, just the feel of Anderson, whether that's the courthouse or Main Street or just all the buildings. The inn down there, I think, is really underutilized. I know we don't own it, but if whatever we can do to utilize those two properties, specifically the courthouse and the inn, I look forward to it. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all of our candidates for all of your thoughtful responses and for being here tonight to answer those questions. And also thank you, Mayor Benton, for inviting me to be a co-moderator with you. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
This was great. Thank you for coming. A couple other quick thank yous too. My wife, Sherry Benton, she helped set everything up here. Joanna Swanson for recording and putting this on Facebook Live tonight. We're probably going to put this on a YouTube channel as well. She's going to share with me the recording. I'll do some edits. Rebecca Ray, our new city secretary in Anderson, set everything up for us here. So I want to thank her too. Again, with the Grimes County Republican Party, thank you for funding this. And most of all, thank you guys for coming out. This was great. We just heard from the sheriff that the crowd here earlier is larger than what Navasota has at their forum tonight. So, I'm going to brag on that forever.